There's not a victory Monday here. The Philadelphia Eagles are dead. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rout the Eagles. A 1-6 finish to the season. A first-round exit. It is a victory Monday for all New York fans, all New York sports fans out there as the Philadelphia Eagles get knocked off. Welcome into our reaction show from Super Wildcard Weekend here at the All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and Manny Ruffin. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, comment, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Our audio platform listeners, those loyal people out there, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, scroll to the bottom, give us those ratings, mean a lot to us. It is another Monday. Super Wildcard Weekend has come to a close. We got another big weekend next week, and our Monday guy, Kilkenny, is here back from the Chicago tour at the Bulls game. What's up, baby, in the Mooney Gang shirt?
Just bury me. Just bury me in the ground.
Likewise, brother.
I mean, like just first initial thoughts, just from a fan perspective, obviously going into this game. Last week, I said I still don't see the Bucs winning this game. A lot of Eagles fans calling for Nick Sirianni's head last week, and I still didn't see it. And then you were on the same wavelength, but most Eagles fans were on that, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. The Bucs have a better shot to win this game. What did you think? I mean, I'm just kind of shocked at the performance that was on that field last night and just the missed tackling, the incompetence from the defense.
I'm not shocked even in the slightest. Every single problem that this team has had really throughout the course of the season, but that's especially been emphasized over the last 6-7 weeks, all was on overdrive last night. I mean, every single criticism that you could have levied on this team was 10 times worse last night. I mean, it was the worst possible game imaginable. And I think if there's any silver lining to this, I think it was just bad enough where it forces Howie's hand to clean house. And I think that's what you're going to see here. It's really hard to wrap my brain around this, man. I mean, to see a team collapse like this, I've never seen it really in my lifetime as a fan. A team that again was sitting at 10-1, coming through the gauntlet of a schedule. Now again, they didn't. I think most Eagles fans will agree. They got lucky in some of those early games. They were not a 10-1 team by any stretch. But at the end of the day, man, winning solves everything. You're 10-1. You're through the thick part of your schedule, and if you're looking ahead, again, you're looking at ending the year with Giants twice and Cardinals. You had to feel pretty good about where we were sitting. There were plenty of times to right the ship and at least try to build some semblance of a rhythm on both sides of the ball. And it just never happened. And I think, again, last night was just sort of the perfect encapsulation of the entire Eagles season. On the defensive side of the ball, again, coverage was a joke, tackling was a joke, and we just gave up 32 points to the Bucs, who barely scored 9 the week before against the Carolina Panthers. So the defense, the tackling was atrocious. And I think what's unfortunate is that they showed up at times. They got enough stops in the middle of the game to sort of keep the game within reach, give the offense a chance to fight back. And this offense just has no bite to it. I think no matter what, I think Brian Johnson's gone and Sean Desai's gone, Matt Patricia's gone. I think Sirianni has to go as well. For a couple of reasons here. One of the quotes that came out yesterday, and look, you knew the Eagles were doomed when you woke up yesterday because by 10 a.m., every single Philly media outlet had already put out their hit pieces, and the game hadn't even started yet. So it's they saw the writing on the wall too. But one of the quotes that came out yesterday was that there were times where the offense didn't know who was calling plays, if it was Sirianni or Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson is the O coordinator and he's the primary play caller, but Sirianni has admitted to sort of overruling him at a few specific times throughout this year. And I'm hoping we learn more just as the weeks go on here of really what happened within this locker room. But the entire offense is clearly frustrated with the overall offensive game plan. And I just don't know if the finger gets pointed more at Brian Johnson or Nick Sirianni, because really who's in charge here. But my God, what just an absolute disaster class. And I think what makes it really unfortunate is there's no real proper way to evaluate Jalen Hurts. I think, the eye test says, the regression is real. I mean, he's looked atrocious for the better half of this year. And, maybe you find out that, the knee was worse than he's been letting on. Maybe, if he gets some sort of like microscopic surgery in a week or two, that'll be somewhat telling. But he looked awful. The decision-making is bad. But then when you see some of the breakdowns of these plays and what his options are out there, it's like, what is he supposed to do with that? So just like from top to bottom, from scheme to the game plan to the overall execution, it just went as bad as humanly possible. And I think most importantly here, like, this team has lost the faith of the fan base. And I don't think you can regain that by bringing Sirianni back. I like Sirianni, and it's crazy that you could lose your job as an NFL head coach like 1 year removed from being that close to winning a Super Bowl. But it's just when you put it all together, the way that we collapsed at the end of the year and the performance that we put out there last night, just emphasizing all of the issues that we have had over the last 2 months. I don't know how he survives this. I really don't.
No, I agree because, listen, last week on this show, I was saying, like, I personally like to see Nick still had the job. I'm watching this game, and I'm like, I can't believe how wrong this guy was last week on the show. And it's just from a stint, like, Drew Lock really sent shockwaves down this franchise because after that week, it not just, like, we all know we have systemic problems on both sides of the ball. It's an effort thing. You can't be that good playing this city, have vets like BG, Fletch, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, all maybe playing the last 5. We know one's confirmed. Most of the guys are probably going to come back, but we just don't know. And have that bad of effort. And it starts at the top for me. Like, I understand there's horrible continuity with our offensive schemes. We don't know who's calling plays. Everyone's confused. Our planning versus the blitz, Twitter went ham on it, but it was disgusting. I was sitting there in my group chat, Lee sending voice notes like, yo, we're going to get 3rd and short. We're going to go empty. And Lee just check it down every single time. I just don't know how much I can point to the players. I'm looking to the top with Nick Sirianni. Like, there's at some point, I'm going to compare him to an all-time coach, and it's not really fair. But there was a point we were talking on this show about Matt Canada and the whole Mike Tomlin thing. He told Matt Canada to get off the top booth, come down the field, and things got a little better. You can see things improve. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying Nick Sirianni had to be Mike Tomlin, but the Sean Desai, Matt Patricia kind of seemed like a scapegoat Trojan horse kind of thing. Like, that really wasn't the problem. I think throughout the year, the offense was more of a problem than the defense, and we never really saw a real adjustment on that side of the ball. And I'm not really mad at Jalen Hurts personally. The one thing I was mad at him for was the safety. That was boneheaded. But when you get your run game taken away and you ask your quarterback to be an absolute superstar, don't have many sight adjusts for him, there's no really good quick game for him, he's going to try to be Superman. That's exactly what he tried to do on that play. And I still think throws-wise, he still looked good. Balls are getting fit in nice spots to Devontae Smith. They're on time. I think schematically, it was just disgusting. It was probably the worst planned playoff game I've seen from the Philadelphia Eagles in my short life. But there's no way we let Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Bucs walk us. Not even Mike Evans, not even Chris Godwin, even though he scored. It was the middle of the field again with K-Dot, and something that's been a problem for literally 18 straight weeks, and it's not addressed. Nicholas Morrow and Zach Cunningham are literally still running into my safeties in man coverage for 18 straight weeks. There's just been so many things for this team that have gone unaddressed, and I'm continually to point at the top to Nick Sirianni. And I'm not going to be the one to say he needs to get fired. I'm just like you, Kenny. I'm just shocked. I'll be shocked week 1 next year if he's my coach. I'm not going to say I'll be mad. I'll just be shocked.
Well, Kenny, I think you hit most of my points on the nail with the recap. And all I would say is that this complete and utter collapse from the Philadelphia Eagles needs to be studied. And I'll tell you what, boy, oh boy, what Jeffrey Lurie has right now is an absolute disaster. Because you found a way to have the highest of highs and then the lowest of absolute lows in one singular season. And let's recap it. You come off last year's Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs, and you're coming into this year. Let's run it back. Let's make a deep run. I understand we lost our coordinators, but we got the same personnel. Let's put our heads together and go back.
This team was 1 or 2 plays away. A scramble and a holding call.
And a holding call. And let's find a way to go back. Put our heads together. Let's go back. You start off the year 10-1. I know you lost to that one ugly game against the Jets, but you go 10-1. And then you hit the gauntlet. And you beat the Bills. Yep. And you beat the Chiefs in the rematch. And you beat the Dolphins. And then you beat the Cowboys. And then you get the 49ers who come back to your own building that you beat in the NFC Championship last year, and you get routed. And then you go to Jerry's World and you get routed. And you lose to the Cardinals in an ugly one. You lose to the Giants in an ugly one.
Don't forget Drew Lock.
Don't forget Drew Lock. Don't forget Drew Lock. And then you get Tampa Bay. And you finish the year losing to Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield. and going 1-6 and get bounced in the first round, you not only lost home field, you lost the division to your rivals, and you missed out on a singular home playoff game that these fans desperately thought they had, and lost. And now you lose Jason Kelce retiring, and that's his exit. And I mean, if you don't study it, that's fine. All I would like to know, what the fuck happened in that locker room? Because that story alone will tell us everything.
Yeah, I think people were blowing that Dallas Goedert and Jalen Hurts thing out of proportion. I don't think that's that big of a deal, for real.
I'll say this, man. The next target that Goddard got was a hospital ball that Goddard almost blew his knee out.
That was disgusting too. We gotta first. Can we stop doing that, please, man? I understand the whole CTE thing and concussions is a huge deal. I've went through a ton of concussions myself. There's thigh pads right here, homie. Like, you can flip someone on a thigh pad. I played DB, I did a lot myself. Like, the midsection don't hurt that bad. You don't gotta go for somebody's knee,
dude,
man.
Players have said it. Players have, they've literally said, dude, hit me in the head before you hit me in the knee. Like, it's not.
It sounds disgusting, but it's truth.
There were just a couple of particular plays last night. The safety for sure. I mean, that's the
bad football.
You can't take a safety there.
Throw the ball. Just throw the ball.
But dude, when you see the camera angle from the back of the end zone, it's four guys running verts. There's nobody in the middle of the field. And what's crazy is I went back. I watched most of the highlights this morning. We ran one slant the entire night. One quick over the middle blitz beater. And Devonta Smith took it for 30 yards and almost housed it. He got, they shoestrung tackled him. He almost housed that play. That is the only slant we ran the entire game. Hey, let's maybe try that a little more. And even just the after the first two drives, you knew exactly what you were getting here, right? It's like this team intentionally gets to third and short just for the ability to run four verts. Opening drive, third and two. It was four verts. There was that play where Goddard and Devonta Smith were essentially right next to each other. And then the exact same thing happened on the following drive. And look, it's not going to be pretty. I don't think we should be tush pushing down the entire field. But hey, other than the 2-point conversion last night, I mean, it's worked 99% of the times. You got 3rd and 2 on the opening drive, dude. Run it twice. Run it twice. If you run it twice and you don't get it, no one is going to bat an eye. And again, it gives your chance to keep the offense in the field, get a first down, get a little bit of momentum going here. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's the one thing that we were able to do this year. We couldn't even do that last night. So it's mind numbing, man. There's zero to be excited about really with this team. Jason Kelce going out the way he did is depressing. I'm hoping maybe he pulls a Brady in a couple of months and goes, you know what? He's getting a little bored doing one more time, run it back one last time. But I don't think it happens if Sirianni comes back. And I'll say this: we can close out of the Eagles, so I don't cry on this podcast. But if the available head coaches right now weren't so stacked, I think Sirianni could potentially escape this. But this is the best class of potential new coaches that we've ever seen. Yeah. And I just think that's going to add the last bit of fuel needed to I think pull the trigger here. So I think in a perfect world, I would love to bring in Vrabel. To be honest, I think I would love Tomlin too. I want give me just a tough ass head coach, and please, for love of God, give me an offensive coordinator with a brain.
Bro, you started talking about it because this is actually what pissed me off. I can't believe I actually forgot about this. The first 2 plays of the game, the Red Sea was parting for DeAndre Swift. Todd Bowles made literally one adjustment. He said, okay, when DeAndre Swift's in the backfield with Jalen Hurts, we're going to load the box and send a zero blitz. All we have to do is just look. I mean, we have none of this year. Just look back to the remnants of Shane Steichen. Okay, you want to go man across the board, zero blitz? We'll just RPO you to death until you get out of it and send someone across the middle. It's such an easy, literally from the first plays of the game. We could have won the game if my OC had a brain. Oh my God, Red Sea parted. Now they're going to zero blitz. We literally have RPO to Smitty all day and they just don't see it. That was actually the most disgusting thing, especially with no AJ. My QB's finger just was doing the jerk last week, and we just get to 3rd and short to go to empty. It makes zero sense to me.
Last night, actually, the more I think about this, was there a single designed QB keeper?
No.
I don't think there was one. The play that we have fallen in love with, and we run it all the wrong times. We don't run it a single time last night as the middle of the field is wide open. And again, I thought our O-line did okay. They definitely they weren't perfect last night, but I think every time that Jalen got in trouble, it was an immediate scramble to left or right. Like there was multiple plays last night where he could have just tucked it and went straight up the gut for like 30 yards, and he just wasn't doing it. So again, I think Jalen Hurts is not blameless here by any stretch, but again, I think it's impossible to like give him a fair evaluation when like he's working with what he has out there, and what he has is like a 6-year-old calling plays in Madden. Like it's just at the end of the day, it's just not going to work. So it was as ugly as it possibly could have been, and this team is going to look a whole lot different next year.
With just a 1-6 to end the year is incredible. Before the bye, I mean, it was like this team's on top of the world, and after the bye, the collapse is unreal. I'm still just blown away at how a team with this caliber, with this roster, can find a way to do that against teams that weren't necessarily teams that should be in games against them down the latter half of these games. Talking about the Seahawks, talking about the Cardinals, talking about the Giants. It's shocking, and I don't really know any other way to put that. And I think a lot of Eagles fans are going to be in agreement with you of Sirianni going.
2023 was crazy, bro. The Sixers did us crazy. Game 6, Game 7. Phillies did us crazy. These motherfuckers.
And that's why I just love Philly. I love Philly fans because everyone's just going to be like, let's go hop on the Philadelphia Flyers bandwagon.
So we know who
when they were projected 5th to last this year, and nobody gave a flying fuck about them. And now that all these teams collapsed on them, they're saying, let's go to the next one. I love Philly fans, man. I love it. Let's move on to our as we're on our Monday games from yesterday. Let's keep it here with the Bills. Not too much on this game. 31-17. Bills get the advance, and we knew that was coming. Big stuff that we have to talk about here. The 52-yard touchdown run from Josh Allen with the fake slide. Talking about our boy Kenny Pickett against his team does the fake slide right back to him. What did we think about that, fellas? Kenny, I'll start with you. What did you think about that?
So I got to see it a few more times. Like I don't think Josh Allen was faking a slide. I think the Steelers thought he was going to slide. Like yeah. I think the Steelers thought he was going to slide. And again, because there was a play later in the game where he did slide and then he got rocked and they threw a flag. Maybe I'll give it a fair look here. I don't think that's what he was trying to do, but again, that's what happened here. The Steelers definitely thought he was going to slide. They took their foot off the brakes for a second here. Like I think there's a huge difference between that Josh Allen run and like the Kenny Pickett fake slide
was deliberate.
It was filthy. It was awesome. It was. But that was nasty, man. Like they got to do something about that. And I wonder if they eventually like just some modification of the rule. Like if you're like X yards past the line of scrimmage, you lose your protection rights as a quarterback, as a runner or something like, because again, like that can't happen. The guy's hard enough to tackle as it is. I mean, he is just a beast of a human being running at you full speed. Like you have to hit him with everything you have if you want to get him down. And I understand defensive players being hesitant there to not take a 15-yard penalty, but they got to do something about that. And I think it's as simple as maybe limiting QB running protections at a certain point past the line of scrimmage, because again, I don't know how deliberate it was, but at least it's clear the Steelers thought he was going to slide, and that's why that play unfolded the way that it did.
Yeah, like he kind of hit he looked like he was trying to sit down a little bit and then like ran him over. And listen, at the time, like people talk about the bad product of football. Football's getting soft. Well, let's talk about DBs not knowing what to fucking do. Linebackers not knowing what to fucking do. Like, these guys on defense have to fly around. That's the whole thing. Josh Allen's 6'5", 240, looks like Cam, but he white. Like, you got to get into him, bro. Like, I can't be stutter stepping half guessing. I'm going to get ran the fuck over just like Buddy did. And he didn't get hurt, but you can get hurt that way. You can fucking head up and get concussion. You can actually get seriously injured that way. Like, it's a genuine problem. And these guys know they can get away with it. Josh knows he can get away with it. I think he faked slide. He might not have. But then Miles Jack gets that bullshit penalty. We'll watch Pat Mahomes probably next week tip me toe on the sideline for 10 extra steps. So you can't kill me because I'm Pat Mahomes. Like, it's disgusting, bro. We making guys stop flying around. And listen, I hate calling for it, but someone might have to just lay a couple in the guys, man. Like, I don't know. Miles Jack might have just, I don't want to send Josh Allen out for the season because that's drawing, but like, it's like, look, how can I stop? Like, you fucking my job up. Now you fucking my money up. I'm going to get fined and I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to be out $8 million. Like, damn, Roger, fuck I'm supposed to do? Like, something has to be done, man.
And that's why that play, too, like the next run that he had, there was that penalty that was taken, and that, like, you can say illegal, dirty hit, but then it's like, for those DBs and those secondaries
What are
in
they
that
supposed to do?
situation.
It is dirty.
Exactly?
Like, it's just
What the hell are they
it's the
supposed to do?
worst gray area. It's probably the worst gray area we've ever had in football, honestly, because it's really like I'm just sitting here in limbo. Like I'm soft. If I like the guy that got ran over, the Steelers fans are probably like, he's soft, he's a bitch. Some of them probably are, and it's like, bro, I don't know what to do. Like, what the fuck?
And we look at least for the game standpoint, you had a TJ Watt-less team that we talked about last week. Mason Rudolph coming here. We were robbed of the big snow game. But if you saw the pictures and the videos, I mean, the visibility was awful. I don't even know how they would have even been able to like conduct this game with visible. We would have seen.
They were tripping on the travel though, right? It was
rush. Yeah, and the other thing I was reading was that the Bills Stadium does not have their field's not heated. Like for example, Arrowhead has pipes 9 inches under the ground, and they heated that field on Saturday night against the Dolphins to 50 degrees. Bills don't have that. They're going to have that in their new stadium, but not here. So they're basically being tackled onto just cement. So that was enough as it was. Maybe the snow on the field would have been a little bit more cushion.
My boy Allen Robinson. Like, damn, put him down on that turf.
And now we see Orchard Park going to host another playoff game, and we finally get to see Patrick Mahomes in his first road playoff game, which we will be getting into a little bit later. Let's move over to the NFC least, I guess we're going to call it. Jordan Love and the Packers put up a damn near 50-piece on the Dallas Cowboys. Haven't lost at home. 16 straight home games that we're winning. I mean, what an absolute disaster. We talked about disasters last night, but it was a little bit different for the Cowboys because they were on their highest of highs. We haven't really seen the lowest of lows for them. We've only known the lowest of lows in the playoffs, and we get bounced in the playoffs. This was an absolute masterclass from Jordan Love and the Packers. And Kenny, you said it last week, the only chance that the Packers have in this game is to start early and start fast and make those Cowboys fans get those butts clenching and get scared. And God damn it, they did. Cowboys, like an awfully slow start, and the Packers just started unbelievably fast. What an unreal performance from Jordan Love. And, like you said last week, he is the future of this team. Aaron Jones with 3 and Jake Ferguson with 3. We saw that $5 ticket for $7,500. Who the fuck's picking that?
Put that man in jail. I want that man in jail. That ticket.
I mean, who's waking up and just saying, you know what? Aaron Jones for 3 and Jake fucking Ferguson for 3. I had him for 1, but I mean, come on. But the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, this is just hilarious to watch another Cowboys defeat. I just felt like it was a little bit different this year. And I know that Cowboys fans say it all the time, every single year. This is our year, man. This is our year. Cowboys are winning it all. I wasn't necessarily saying that, but it was more of this feels different as a better chance to actually do it. Because you had more hype around the team. The team was actually playing better. They were fighting hard against teams that were good down the stretch, beating up on the Eagles. Yes, we got killed by the Niners earlier on in the season, but they looked a lot better. CD leading all receivers with 14 touchdowns. This team had a real shot to make a run, and it was like almost built where the Cowboys could go see the Niners in the NFC Championship out in San Francisco, and they get to get that rematch again. But no, Jordan Love shuts the door. Mike McCarthy, I mean, we're talking about Nick Sirianni. I mean, that same blame's going to go on Mike McCarthy. And Dak Prescott saying in the press conference, well, if you're going to put Mike McCarthy on the block, then you got to start talking about me like that. With that,
we are, Dak. We are talking about you.
Like we get the pick six, Darnell Savage just taking it to the house, 27-0 at one point before halftime, and then we get the little cheeky Jake Ferguson touchdown as time expires. This is just incredible that this Cowboys team finds a way to do this every single fucking year. What do you got for me, Kenny?
The Packers are good. This Packers offense is fun to watch, man. Look, I think, we're going to talk a lot about Jordan Love here, but it just shows, what an offense can do when you can effectively run the ball. And again, over the last 2 months, as Aaron Jones has gotten healthy, just something different has clicked with this Green Bay offense. This is the last 4 games. 21 carries, 127 yards, 20 carries for 120, 22 for 111, and 21 for 118. He's averaging 6 yards a carry over the last month. The Cowboys just had no answer for Aaron Jones throughout this game, and because of that, it gave Jordan Love really any look he wanted when he was throwing the ball. Again, you got to give a lot of credit to Jordan Love here, and there's something to be said about, hey, maybe your rookie quarterback doesn't need to start week 1. Unless you're a freakazoid like CJ Stroud. Stroud is the anomaly here, right? And we're gonna get to CJ Stroud in a second here. But other than that, it feels like every other quarterback that comes in as a rookie and it just gets thrown to the fire. It's ugly. The Packers haven't had a quarterback issue in like 35 years. They have seamlessly gone from Favre to Rodgers and now to Jordan Love. Again, the future's bright in Green Bay. And look, it's not just like it's not just he's making nice throws. I mean, his composure out there is next level. This kid is cool and collected as can be. And like he's reading defenses, he's making adjustments at the line. I mean, the touchdown to Wicks, I forget who it was on Twitter, did like a really good breakdown of this, but like that's all Jordan Love. Change the line of scrimmage, put him in motion, and there you go. Little post seam, good game. This team is a lot of fun. They can score at will. And I'm very curious to see where this line goes with this matchup against San Fran. Again, like I'm not going to get ahead of myself here and think they're going to run it back against San Fran. But like, dude, when you can run the ball like they can score points. Now it's just, do they have any stops in them to be able to, get a few extra possessions away from San Fran? I'll say this, like as bad as Dallas looked, I mean, you have to give a lot of credit to this Green Bay defense that their front seven was in the backfield the entire game. Dak was on his ass the entire game. And, for years, Jair Alexander has been, regarded as like one of the best corners in football. And then he missed a lot of time this year. When he did play, he was like food for a few games. He was clearly playing injured. I mean, he locked up CD in the first half. I mean, he was playing some of the best football that he's played. And if you've got a fully healthy Jair Alexander, like this Packers team is the best version of themselves right now. They're clicking at the right time. They've got all the confidence in the world. I think they're going into San Fran feeling pretty good about themselves, and I think they're going to be able to make this a game.
No, yeah, I agree. And listen, I've talked about the Green Bay Packers and nauseam every time they win a big game on this podcast, but like, damn, it's just so good to see Jordan Love. And then his weapons get to shine. Like Romeo Doubs having a big game, and then guys like Luke Musgrave, Wicks, Christian Watson, like they have weapons have around Jordan Love for a long time. And Aaron Jones is just the engine of that offense. One thing that was like apparent to me watching this game is one coach has a big dick and one coach has a small dick. LaFleur came out, guns blazing, not afraid to lose at all, like trying to win the game. Mike McCarthy came out, in Jerry's World, everyone watching, trying not to lose. How much, like, we talk about the strength of their offense. I thought Mike McCarthy did a good job this year with the whole Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb duo, just doing anything to get those two the ball, get those two moving. Just this dose of like, we're going down. Okay, Tony here, Tony here, Tony here. It was never like that to me, at least when I watched the Cowboys. Like, I feel like they had a whole change of identity going to the playoffs. And like, if you want to talk about a team that's going to choke and just be a show of himself, that's just what they're going to do every single time. Like, I don't understand.
Like, let me just sense, like, what worked for Dallas all year was, dude, they threw the ball and they play aggressive man defense. They came out and they ran the ball a bunch and they played zone the entire first half, and Love gave them 27 points. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
It's so disgusting. And people on Cowboys Twitter are gonna be like, yo, Dak only came back by, we lost by 2 scores. Bro, y'all didn't try to start throwing the ball till you were down 50. Like, that was the most disgusting display of coaching in the playoffs I've ever seen at home. Like, literally just, hey, everybody, thanks for showing up. I'm just going to try to ball control this with our complete weakness of our offense while CeeDee Lamb and our Ferraris just sitting out there like waving to me. Like, I don't understand the plan there, Mike McCarthy. I was going to advocate for you to keep your job, but another guy like Nick Sirianni, your playoff game just makes it look even worse. I think he got the most out of Dak and CD, and I don't know. I mean, I think other coaches can, but I think that's something to be looked at because he definitely did a good job with those guys. But this playoff performance and their previous playoff performances from Mike, brother, you might be just with Nick, man.
And there was one other stat real quick. I'll turn it over to you, Alex. I think it was, at least in the first half, I think it was something like they had like 7 second downs. They ran the ball every second down for an average of like 0.5 yards. Like every single second down, it was an inside carry to Pollard, just going nowhere. Like they every single second down they ran the ball, it went nowhere, and they just kept doing it. And then they were staring at 3rd and 8 every single drive. They just couldn't get it done.
Well, let's put some more respect, even though like there's enough to already be had around these guys, but let's put some more respect on Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, because this receiving core is 22 and 23 years old. You talk about guys that step up in the biggest moments of their careers and their season as a team against this Dallas team in Jerry's World is just flat out incredible. And I know that Stefanski has this locked up, but it just has to be given a slight thought that Matt LaFleur, with this roster coming into this year, had no business getting into the playoffs. You gotta give it a slight thought for Coach of the Year. Am I wrong for saying that?
No, I couldn't agree more, man. I think this award should have gone to LaFleur. I think like Joe Flacco probably single-handedly won this award for Stefanski. And again, like what the Browns did is impressive. You lose Nick Chubb week 2, you lose all of your quarterbacks, and you still had a good run into the playoffs, and you came in and you were favored against the Texans. But again, I think that was more on just like the miracle resurgence of Flacco, I think just slightly more than Stefanski. And again, what LaFleur has done with the youngest team in football, 0 Pro Bowlers, and then they come out and just beat the brakes off of Dallas in Jerry World in Jordan Love's first career playoff game. I mean, LaFleur had these boys fired up and ready to go. I sure wish we had a coach like that.
First 7 seed to win a playoff game there. I know it's, not anything crazy. 7 seed hasn't been around for a while, but that's still some special stuff.
Put your trophies in your trophy case. You know what I mean? Don't throw it away.
Hey, take your wins. Take your wins, no matter how small, no matter how big. Take your wins. Let's go to the Rams and the Lions. The Rams tickets sadly fall to a close. What a great performance from both teams in this game. The big thing for the Rams in this loss, as a Giants fan, I can relate. We simply cannot score in the red zone. It's very, very simple. Matt Stafford has a masterclass, 367, nothing to show for in the red zone. Jared Goff stepping up in a big moment against his former team. I got to go touch on the Stafford late hit, and it was not the first hit, but it was that second kind of like forearm to his helmet. His head flies back. His eyes are rolling, okay? That's a fucking concussion. Where's the protocol? We know he was not stepping out of the game.
Where's the protocol, motherfucker? Where's the flag?
Where's the fucking... I mean, we need to get checked on that, okay? We're like, the TV, national TV is zooming in on his eyes. They're rolling back in his head. We need to check on Matt Stafford there. It's a clear flag. And that was on a 3rd and 14. I mean, there's your first down right there. Then you get the second one late in the game, the hold on Puka. I mean,
hold on, Puka. That was just that's
another third down. That is a first down conversion. That's where you can get your field goals there. You can stay within the game, keep it a 1-score game, and you still talk about not scoring in the red zone. Those are 2 first downs. Putting yourselves into deep Detroit Lion territory. This was a spot for the Rams to get, but I could not be happier for the city of Detroit. We get our playoff win. We host another home game against the Bucs, and you look at it. I know the Bucs played very well last night, but I don't know how they're going to survive with that defensive front. What'd you think about Matt Stafford and the Rams and this loss? And obviously Kelly Stafford saying that Matt Stafford is going to return. But I was watching the game with Manny, and he did say as soon as the loss happened, "Hey, if you're Matt Stafford, are you coming back for more?"
He'll be back for him. He just that offense looked too good the second half of the season for him to hang it up. I think after that, I want to know, and I saw something about this on Twitter, and he'll never admit it publicly. I don't know if there's a way to like eventually find this out, but I think he completely faked whatever injury that he was like, because the play that he got hit, his eyes roll back, and then I think he like wakes up. And then he walks off the field and he's like holding his arm or his
ribs.
He's holding like his arm or like his midsection or whatever. And what I think happened was, I think once he got to the sideline, I think they evaluated him there. Like, I think he's like, "Hey, my ribs hurt." They checked on his ribs, and he's like, "Oh, your ribs are fine." He's like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm good to go." And then they put him back in the game. I think he kind of like came out of it, realized, "Oh shit, I just got rocked. I probably have a concussion," and then faked another injury to take the attention off the concussion that he just got, so that he could go back out there. Like, I really believe that's what happened.
They don't make many like Stafford no more.
That's so
interesting. They don't make him like that, man. He's one of the toughest motherfuckers that's ever played this game. I mean, he threw a game-winning touchdown pass against the Browns early in his career with a separated shoulder. I mean, the dude is just, he'll play through anything. And I think he kind of came to for a sec, realized, "Oh, I just got rocked in the head. I'm going to get taken out of this game. Let me, my ribs. And then his ribs were fine, and then they put him right back out there. Like, I was stunned when he was out there.
That is a crazy way of thinking about that. I did not even have a mere thought about that at all. That is an unreal look there. And maybe, as it looks of it, maybe you are right, because Buddy was rocked.
Yeah.
Dude, they never said anything about concussion. Like, they never said, Stafford. They didn't say anything about concussion protocol or he cleared or anything like that. They just said he's coming back in. And I think he made a big brain to this a little bit and faked another injury so that he could skirt concussion protocol and then go back in. And then all that to say, hey, if you have the presence of mind to do that, do you have a concussion? Maybe you're good to go out there and play anyway.
Fair enough. And we look at the future of this team. I guess we see what late round draft picks can do. Puka Nacua, 9 for 181 and a touchdown, breaking the DK rookie record in a playoff game. Cooper Kupp, non-existent. And
yeah, he wasn't healthy.
I read that wrong. I thought this was going to be a Cooper Kupp playoff game, and I'm just dead wrong. I completely read that wrong. It was always Puka, and especially on those third and longs, they were only looking to Puka. We saw some early talk about Stafford. We saw some early Stafford magic. I think it was a second down or a third down. Gets that no look sidearm, kind of like Patrick Mahomes. Who is this guy coming into Detroit? Do that. But I really, even though I was really rooting for the Lions just for the fan base to give Detroit something to be happy about in the playoffs, get a playoff win post, division win for the first time since '93, I really thought that Stafford was going to come back and rain on this parade back in his old city.
Facts.
Guess I was wrong.
I don't know. Hats off to the Lions, though. That was a gritty, that was a Detroit Lions win. They came out hot. Jahmyr Gibbs making plays. In that second half, people really were. There was a couple seconds where it was real butt clenchy for Lions fans. They go 3 and out, kick it back, massive punt back to the Rams, leads to more defensive stops. They missed a lot. I think they missed 5-6 holding calls in the Rams in that second half, to be honest. But honestly, look, I think the Lions got away with one. I'm gonna be honest, because there were one thing people not talking about a lot about that Rams game. We talk about the red zone struggles. Kyron Williams was getting hurt in that second half every single time they were on the red zone. In the first half, so the one red zone possession I'll say was really bad was the first one. It was disgusting. I think they threw the ball 3 times. They even hand off to Kyron Williams once. But in the second half, I think he fucked his hand up. Yep. And there was 2-3 different times to go to the red zone, and they're putting Ronnie Rivers and throwing these swing passes to Ronnie Rivers on first down. Then we're behind the sticks, and then we only have one receiver now with Puka Nacua. They know that. And we're behind the sticks in the red zone. I think the Kyron Williams injury just completely ruined the continuity of the red zone offense and kind of fucked that game for them, because they took 3 a lot of situations where if one time they scored a touchdown, which I think they would if they could get just one Kyron Williams 4-yard run to get in second 6 and just shorten these sticks up. Whole different ball game. Shout out to the Lions, though. Shout out to my Uncle Mikey for watching, though.
Hey, you know what? What Dan Campbell say? Hey, Jared Goff, you're good enough for Detroit.
Facts. Shout out Jared Goff.
For Detroit,
Facts,
Jared
though.
Goff.
Facts, though.
Way to go, baby.
Facts, though, because he made the plays. Him and Amon-Ra made the plays when they needed to. Shout out Jared, bro.
All right,
100%.
let's head over to the Texans and C.J. Stroud becoming the youngest quarterback to win a playoff game, a 45-14 rout at home. Obviously, they're not going to get another home playoff game the rest of the way, but Texans fans couldn't be happier with that performance. What a fun game to be at. What a fun game to watch for Texans fans and people that didn't bet on Cleveland. Well, I had Cleveland, so it wasn't that fun of a watch. What an unbelievable performance where I'm looking at Joe Flacco, January Joe, and we're 7-0 on road games, road playoff games. We're chasing a Tom Brady record, playoff wins, and postseason road playoff wins. And I guess from watching the NBC pregame, I'm seeing Devin McCourty talk about it, and he says, well, this is the year of the backup quarterback, but as we've noticed throughout the league with backup quarterbacks, all those roads come to an end. Give me the Texans. And I'm like, it's January Joe. And it wasn't anything against CJ Stroud, but with the Browns defense is more who I had in this game than Joe Flacco. And they were non-existent. But again, you just simply have to give it to these young QBs right now. And you have to give it to the Houston Texans. What a turnaround. You talk about where they were last year. You put CJ Stroud. You said it earlier about putting CJ Stroud. He's like the only kind of diamond in the rough in a situation to lead a team from a complete disaster to now playoffs and then a playoff win. I don't see any other way for CJ Stroud. You get to go to Baltimore this week. You kind of can assume what's going to happen, but like you said, you can't count anything out.
I don't think you can assume shit.
I'm big on the Ravens. We'll get into that. But CJ Stroud, you really have ignited this fan base and shown Houston that you guys got a competent football team right now. And D'Amico Ryan's way to get out there, stand in it, and fight hard and get a huge playoff win at home. 45-14. Who thought that?
I think it was cool too. If you just to slightly compare this to the Dallas Green Bay game, and Green Bay went up and the game was over, right? Green Bay went out, beat the shit out of them, and the game was over 8 minutes into this game. And I think you got to give a little credit to CJ Stroud here. They take 3 on the first possession. Cleveland marches down the field and they score a touchdown at 7-3. Houston comes right back and scores. It's 10-7. Cleveland comes back and scores immediately. It's 14-10, and it's Stroud had to keep delivering, and then it was 75-yard bomb to Brevin Jordan, and game's over here. Again, you got to give credit to the Houston offense, man. Obviously, it all starts with Stroud, but mean, you look at how banged up this offense has been the entire year. I mean, Tank Dell look at the season Tank Dell was having before he got hurt. Nico Collins missed a bunch of games. Now they had Robert Woods and Noah Brown back for this game, although they both were complete non-factors. I think Brown only played like 11% of the snaps. And then what happens then? Oh, how about John Mechie stepping up and having the best game of his rookie season, like out of nowhere? I think he had 3 catches. He had a couple of handoffs as well. I mean, they're just squeezing every ounce of production that they can get out of everybody in this offense. And it all starts with the guy under center. So hats off to CJ Stroud, hats off to the Houston Texans. Again, I think, they came in as dogs. I don't think anybody thought that they were going to get rocked in this game, but I don't think anybody saw a 45-14 rout. And I do think the Flacco regression was coming. I mean, the guy has been just airing it out for the last 6 weeks. I mean, the guy throws risky balls, and they come into the second half trailing. He has to be a little more aggressive, and that leads to 2 immediate pick sixes. GGs.
Yeah, the Flacco regression did hit. But one thing that did hurt him a lot, Amari Cooper's injury did hurt a lot. I wonder how this game plays out differently if Amari Cooper was healthy. One thing I want to say, though, like, shout out to D'Amico Ryans, man, because I'm complaining about my team going 3rd and short, staying in empty, staying in shotgun. One of the few coaches in this league still that's putting his rookie quarterback under center and getting stubborn with Devin Singletary. They'll go 1st and 10, Devin Singletary, here you go. 2nd and long, Devin Singletary, here you go. Set up those play actions. The one play of Nico Collins where he made the crazy adjustment, like that, I'm pretty sure that was play action. They just stay stubborn to who they are, even if it's a bad matchup for them. And CJ Stroud just has that it factor, bro. I feel like he talked about it, I'm pretty sure it was on the Pat McAfee show or another podcast where he was saying in college before that Georgia game, he kind of just let go. Like he was just holding on so much tight to shit and the opinions, and he just kind of before that Georgia game let go. And when you have that quality, that young to be able to play in these bigger games, your first playoff game at home, so that was the loudest stadium you ever played in. In the NFL, you dreamed of this, and just be able to let go and just ball out with your boys. You're all young. You guys are all so close. Him, Nico Collins are close. John Mechie, Robert Woods, him and Laramie Tunsil are dumb tight. Like, that team has a different kind of bond, and they're able to let go and play with no pressure. And when you talk about that next matchup, I want to see how many points they hanging, because them motherfuckers don't care who they play, bro. Like, talk about nameless, whatever, faceless people. Like, that's what they on. I like it a lot.
And real briefly, as before we get into the recap of or the projections for next week, Chiefs getting a big one here, 26-7. We knew they were going to win this game. Manny talked about it last week. Soft ass Miami team. You get into this super cold game. It was non-existent for the Dolphins for the majority of this game. But you know what? I guess I got to give my credit where credit is due. Fucking Peacock, okay? We all bitched. Every NFL fan hated it. We all bitched at you, but apparently, because everybody loves football, it had nothing to do with you, Peacock. Because everybody loves football, we gave you 23 million viewers, most streamed event in like whatever.
Fuck Peacock.
Whatever. That is unbelievable. But you know what? If you guys want to just steal a game like that, then you're sure as hell better not do this shit again, because that's a game that needed to be on national TV, not on some goddamn streaming software. I'm back to being scared of the Chiefs. I'm not saying like, and I don't mean that in like this weird way where, I've never been scared of the Chiefs. It's just they never had weapons, so I wasn't scared of them. But then it's like a switch for number 15 in Patrick Mahomes. Whenever it's the playoffs, it's just a switch. I'm now back to being scared of him. I thought it was going to be a vintage 15 and 87 game. I really did. I know that Kelsey didn't get in the end zone, but I mean, he got targeted 4 million times. We know that that's going to be the connection the rest of this way, and especially when they go up to Orchard Park and play the Bills in Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game. But you know what? Hey, Dolphins, see you later. I mean, is this, I guess, from the projections, what we said all year about this team with the highlights of their big offense and how they can score the rock? I mean, when you look at it, we knew what this team was. They were special because of the offense, but when you take them out of Miami, they are not that great. And they also didn't win football games against really good teams with winning records. When they played good teams, they got kicked. It's as simple as it was. Chiefs win this one big, and I'm back to being scared of Patrick Mahomes. What do you got, Kenny?
I mean, the score of this game doesn't really do it justice here, like 26-7. I mean, this was a absolute fucking ass pumping. The only reason that the Dolphins even scored was because Tyreek Hill literally fluked them into a touchdown, because he's Tyreek Hill and he can do things that nobody else in the face of the earth can do. Like, he single-handedly scored them 7 points. Short of him, this team was going to get shut out. And my God, I really tried to not put too much stake into this whole like the weather narrative. Can Tua play in cold weather and this and this? Like it's as real as it gets. They couldn't move the ball. They looked absolutely atrocious. Again, Chiefs defense is legit. I mean, this defensive unit this year is probably light years better than their defense from last year, which is scary. But the Dolphins just had no answer, and it was similar to like the Green Bay, where like Kansas City marched down, they scored first, put the pressure on, and like that was it. Miami had no answer. I still don't know like if I believe in this Chiefs team against a good team like Buffalo that's capable of putting up 35. Again, right now that's Buffalo minus 2.5. We can get to that game in a bit, but I think this game is much more about the Chiefs defense and Miami's just overall utter incompetence. I mean, like, hey, like we are who they thought they were, et cetera, et cetera.
100%. But I think Miami's going to look back of like their end stretch of the season, how they let the Bills get back in this AFC race and how they had to hold on. That race got really expensive injury-wise for both teams. Miami's coming to this game without their 4 best pass rushers. I'm pretty sure the 4 leading sack guys. Their starting safety, Javon Holland, he's a stud. Like that AFC race for them, letting the Bills hang on, got super expensive for them. And they lost their engine, their heart of their defense. You come into games like this and get slammed, pushed around. Shout out to my guy, Rashid Rice. He's been a hell of a player all year. Speedster, good yak guys. Finally, I mean, he hasn't had a game like this all year, but finally getting his spotlight. And I think we're going to talk about the Bills game when we get to it more. But I think this is going to be the most interesting Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes matchup because we've been talking about it pretty much for both of them when both their teams were successful. Not as much about Josh because Josh was doing a lot of shit by himself on some crazy shit. But we want to see Pat have a team where he kind of had to do it himself. And I think this is a matchup between the two of them where it's really going to be like the two quarterbacks driven, making the plays. And I think it's going to be one of the funner ones to watch. So shout out to the Chiefs, get that dub.
Well, let's move over to our divisional round. The final 8 teams in the NFL remaining heading into the divisional round. We'll kick things off Saturday at 4:30. The Houston Texans visiting the team that had the bye out of the AFC, the big bad Baltimore Ravens, and sitting at 9.5-point favorites and minus 400 on the money line. Still got to take a look at what the weather's going to be like in Baltimore. But CJ Stroud, first road playoff game. Going to see how you talk about how loud that stadium was in Houston last week. See how loud Baltimore can get for you. And this big bad team that knows how to score points against very, very good teams. We'll see if the defense can keep up with Lamar Jackson. What do you have here? 9.5. I know you've been saying so far throughout this show today that you can't count anything out. I know that they sat out last week. You're talking about the Ravens. I don't see it. I don't see it. And that's no disrespect to anybody on Houston.
I'm checking. I just want to see if there's any updated forecast for what we're seeing for this game. So right now, again, it's early. It's only Tuesday, so a lot can change between now and then. But right now, they're saying for Houston at Baltimore, cold and breezy, temp in the upper 20s with 15-mile-an-hour sustained wind, gust to around 30. So it's not going to impact play too much, but it's certainly not ideal. And if that gets worse, I mean, edge to Baltimore for sure. I mean, if this turns into more of a ground game, I don't think Houston has a chance. I mean, their only way to stay in this game is to air it out like they've been doing. I'm very curious to see like how fresh Baltimore looks like in the first quarter of this game, right? They're coming off the bye and they didn't play, like, all their starters didn't play in week 18 too. Like Lamar is going to be pushing 3 weeks since he's played contact football. And you wonder if there's going to be just a little bit of rust there. I think nine's too much. Like, I think looking at the board here, like I think if I'm picking a side, I'm taking the Texans with the points, and I'm probably in the other game, I think I'm going to take the Packers with the points. I just think they've both done enough offensively to prove that they can hang in games, and they're tough teams to blow out. So I'm excited for this game, and I'll tell you what, CJ Stroud has already done more than enough to impress me for years and years and years. My God, they came out and they win this game. Like I don't even know what to say here. So I like the Texans with the points. Again, another game that I'm very curious to see where this line goes, and I just think there's a balance between the team that's coming in, fully healthy and well rested versus the team that's rolling, coming in with all the confidence in the world after just hanging a 45 piece against one of the best defenses in the NFL. And they're playing with house money. I mean, it's similar to Green Bay and Dallas. There was zero pressure on Green Bay in that game. Like if they lose, well, they were supposed to lose. And if they win, it's all upside and it's all celebrations here. And I think if you're the Texans, you're in the exact same boat. So I think of all the games, I'm most excited for this game. I just can't get enough of watching CJ Stroud throw the football. I mean, my God, what a beautiful ball that guy throws. It's just the touch is there. So I like the Texans with the points, and I don't know, dude. If I end up drinking myself into oblivion this week to try to mask my Eagles depression, I may get myself on the Texans money line. I think I'm a believer in CJ
At plus 315, lot of juice there, sir.
It's funny enough because I was like, I'm waiting for the Birds to lose so I can hop on the Ravens bandwagon because I just love Lamar. Then I see this matchup and it's like, oh, I might have to pump the brakes on that. What's up, Texans? I'm with you, Kenny. I'm probably going to take the Texans with the points. I'm real interested to see this game. David Njoku had a good game last game. Isaiah Likely's been playing a huge role for the Ravens down the stretch. I was interested to see how the loss of Mark Andrews would cost the Ravens in the playoffs. I'm really interested to see how he goes off in this game, how he plays. I think the Texans are going to be cool on the edge. I think it's funny because everyone's waiting for Lamar to have that big playoff game. And interestingly enough, I don't know if this is going to be the one. Like, I don't know if there's a situation for him to have like that explosive game. I think it's going to be more so of him taking care of the ball, making plays, extending with his legs, getting out of pressure. I want to see how Will Anderson does. They try to move him around to try to spy Lamar. It's going to be a real interesting matchup. Like, I think, I don't know why FanDuel, I guess I'm missing something, but I feel like this is way closer than it actually is. I'm feeling it should be more so of like a 5 or maybe a 4.5. I could be tweaking. I feel like this matchup is way closer than they think. I'm gonna take the Texans with the points. I think CJ Stroud has a game.
I just feel like it's the weather factor definitely has to be an advantage for Baltimore. Again, sure. Texans coming off a game with weather not being a factor at all, playing in the dome, and now we're going to go to a cold atmosphere. We got to bundle up. Hey, hands are going to be cold.
Where's CJ come from now?
That's true.
Columbus. Plenty of games out there like
Plenty of games out there. So it's and late in the season. But again, you're right. I think the biggest, Kenny, you're right on this one. I think the biggest point here is the rust that we could potentially see with Lamar Jackson and the offense. Talking about fast starts, we got two teams out of the Texans and the Packers that put up over 40 plus, where you start fast, the game is in the palm of your hands. And as we move to the Packers and the 49ers, our night game at 8:16, San Francisco hosting, again, the bye team, the team that sat out last week, the 49ers hosting the Packers after a 48-point rout against the Cowboys. Again, 9.5-point favorites, 370 on the money line for the Packers. Jordan Love's in a good spot. And again, another thing to mention here with what you're saying, Kenny, is a great point as well. It's all house money for the Packers moving forward. It's all house money for the Texans moving forward. If the Packers can start hot, put a little bit of pressure on the 49ers, they might be able to hang in this one, especially with the run game. But I just feel like with their pass rush, Chase Young and Nick Bosa are going to find a way to just close the pocket for Jordan Love and force him to get the ball out fast. And I don't see it.
God, I want the Packers to win this game so bad. It would be so much fun. Man. Look, it's like this is definitely. I mean, what they closed as, I think, like they were getting 7, maybe 7.5 some places against Dallas. So I guess the 9.5 line against a much more superior Niners team makes sense. But again, throw in the potential rust factor. Again, it'll be 3 weeks since Brock Purdy has had to play real NFL offense here. I just think it's going to be a matter of like, which team gets more stops. And obviously conventional wisdom points to San Fran. I mean, their defense is far superior, but like, dude, they got the total of this at 50.5. I mean, I think Vegas clearly thinks this game is going to be just a lot of offense on both sides. And it's just a matter of, can the Packers again find a way to establish that run game early? I mean, if Aaron Jones is just clicking early and they're able to extend drives, get into a little bit of rhythm, I think they're going to be able to hang here. Like, I think this is one where, similar to, how we talked about the Cowboys matchup, like I think in the first quarter, you're going to know if the Packers have a shot in this game. If they go 3 and out, 2 of the first 3 drives, I mean, it's probably over. But if they can get Aaron Jones going, get that play action game working, take a little bit of pressure off of Jordan Love, I do think he's going to have to use his legs a lot more this game. He didn't have to at all last week, and he's got a little bit of mobility in him. He doesn't rely on it a whole lot here. But dude, like, it's just I've seen too much unbelievable football from CJ Stroud and from Jordan Love to lay this many points on the opposing teams that haven't played ball in 3 weeks. So like, I'm not going out on a limb and saying I think both dogs are going to win, but I think as we sit here on Tuesday, I think both these lines are too high, and I would take the points. And again, my prediction is both of these numbers are at least a point lower the closer we get, unless the weather deteriorates in Baltimore. We'll have to see.
No, I agree. I think I just think the key for the Packers really is just not going down early. I think the only way they really don't cover is they have to battle back late, and maybe they just have a drive where they battle down with CMC and get a late touchdown. I think the Packers kind of not match up the best, but on the edges with the weapons that we have, I think we don't match up the worst you can. And this game's going to be like a gadget play off between the two coaches. So I think really this is a game where anything can happen. And if it's not really like there's way too much nuance in this matchup to not lay the points, I think. Like there's so many different avenues that these coaches can go and different ways this game can go. Between the Packers, between Jordan Love can make plays, Aaron Jones can take game over by himself, Brock Purdy could be in for his imminent collapse. You don't know. Like there's way too many factors in this game. I'm gonna err on the side of the points. Go Packers, man. I'm with y'all now. I got cheese on my head today.
I got cheese in my head today. I'm just hoping that, like we're not seeing one team that's dominant and talking about, over-unders, one team that has to carry that. Yeah. You got 50.5 in the Packers game. You would have to assume that you're going to get a shootout, 28-24, 31-27, something like that. At least keep it interesting and have, these teams that are obviously the heavy underdogs not get blown out early. But we've just shown the whole mood switch and the mood swing from what we saw out of the Houston Texans and the Packers putting up an insane amount of points against really, really good teams.
I'm thinking like a 27-20. Like, I don't know. Come down to the last drive, whatever happens, there happens type shit.
And you put it.
I think the one thing the Packers done a good job of is they Jordan Love is so good at protecting the ball. I mean, the guy just doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, you just look at you look at the scores from their games this year. Like they don't blow out a lot of teams, with the exception of I guess Dallas in the wild card round, but they don't get blown out either. I mean, this is a team that has just played close games, really against everybody for the majority of their year here. So I know like San Fran has more blowout potential than probably any offense in the NFL right now, but I believe in the Packers' ability to establish the run, keep this close, and Jordan Love to just not make mistakes and give away possessions. And if that's the case, man, I think they can keep this within 10 for sure.
And we head to our Sunday games, and the Detroit Lions kick this one off at 3:00 on Sunday. They host another playoff game. The city of Detroit's going crazy, and they're going to host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, you got 6.5-point favorites. Minus 280 on the money line. You got him by a touchdown, which is a little crazy, but I'm solely just going to go emotional here and just root for, like I did last week, just rooting for the city of Detroit to keep this train moving, keep Jared Goff moving, seeing where he was, getting his first win years back with the Lions, and now this complete switch that Dan Campbell and Jared Goff and this offense has been able to go through. I gotta be rooting for Detroit here, but if we saw anything last night with the Buccaneers, there's no counting them out, and there's certainly no counting out Baker Mayfield on Sunday against the Lions. I'm gonna take the Lions. I don't think they cover that 6.5 there, but I gotta go with the Lions here.
I agree. I think I don't want to speak too confidently because again, what the fuck do I know?
Oh, shit.
I think this has to be a comeback to earth spot for the Bucs. I think they get their absolute ass handed to them. I think the Lions could win this game by a lot. I think of all the games that have blowout potential, I'm surprised this spread isn't more. And again, we'll rewind the tape next Tuesday to see if my line movement predictions are on par here. But I think this goes to a touchdown and maybe even over a touchdown. Like I would very comfortably blah blah blah. I would lay the 6, and I would probably play this up to 7. I think the Lions could dismantle the Bucs. I really do. I mean, the Bucs again, like I'm not giving them any credit for what they did to the Eagles. The Eagles stink. Like I'm a Baker Mayfield guy. I love what he's been able to do this year. Like hats off to him. But this Lions team is a different animal, especially at home in the Dome and Ford Field. Like there's nothing stopping them from scoring 35 points in this game. And I think their defense is going to put up way more of a fight than the Eagles defense did. I could see this being ugly, like 35-10.
No, yeah, this could get bad. I think the Lions win. I do think there's potential for Todd Bowles to get on some weird shit just because it's a Jared Goff-led offense. I think Jared Goff's played incredible. I'm not saying he's played bad at all. I'm just saying that factor is there. And he knows how to take away your run game and make your offense make plays in space. But this is a horrible matchup for that because you got guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta. So Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is going to have a big game. I think the Lions win here. I think there's room for it to get weird, though, if Todd Bowles has one of those Todd Bowles mastermind games. I think this could be one of the more fun games, especially like if we don't see like Baker get nicked up or anything like that. This could be a fun one. I'm like nervous. It's one of them spreads where I see it, I'm just like, why? Like, because I'm seeing the other spreads and I'm like, all right, that's too much. And when you said the spread, I'm kind of like, oh, like it might get weird, but I think the Lions win.
Yeah, you got to give them the credit.
I think it might get weird, though. I don't know.
And we have one final game, and the last two teams remaining are Sunday game at 6:30 to close out the divisional round weekend. The Bills hosting the Kansas City Chiefs in what will be Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game. Bills as 2.5-point favorites in the frigid Orchard Park as minus 146 on the money line. Again, this is on Tuesday. I don't know how you don't give the edge to the Bills here. Stacking roster sizes here. I even though I did say that I'm scared of the Chiefs, I almost got to go with the Bills just because this is the moment for Josh Allen to prove everybody wrong. I am the AFC. It's not Patrick Mahomes. Let's get our revenge. It could not be more fitting any other way. You have been put in a perfect situation to shut the haters up that it's Patrick Mahomes and not Josh Allen. This is your moment. Will you step up to it? I say yes, Buffalo Bills win.
Everything in me agrees with you. Everything. But Patrick Mahomes is a dog in a playoff game? I don't know, man. Like, dude, the eye test says Buffalo should win this game by a touchdown. I mean, I just think top to bottom, they're the better team. They're coming in with more momentum. Like they're completely clicking. But dude, it's Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes as a dog in the playoffs. It's like against my religion to bet against him here. So this one, I think of the 4 games this weekend, I think this is the one that I feel like I have the least amount of feel for, the least amount of confidence in sort of my lean. But I lean the Chiefs just because I'm never gonna bet against Patrick Mahomes if you're gonna lay me points. I can't do it. Even though I think Buffalo top to bottom is better. I think they should win this game, but man, I mean, if the Chiefs win this game, man, I mean, it just shows like what a freakazoid Patrick Mahomes is. Because you're right, this is the best opportunity Josh Allen and the Bills are ever going to get to knock the Chiefs out, make the Super Bowl run that has been evading Josh Allen and just the Bills for the better part of the last 20 years here. But man, there's just something that's not sitting right with me at looking at Mahomes plus money line. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. And look, even in that cold, frigid weather, I don't think Miami's defense is anything to get excited about. They were down a bunch of guys as well, but I mean, like they ran the ball down their throat with ease and like without even looking all that good. They dismantled the Dolphins last week. So I think if the line stays as it is, I mean, I'm taking the points and I'm taking the Chiefs, but I'm not feeling all that great about it.
I'm not. Listen, this matchup is super interesting for a lot of reasons, and I definitely 15 and 17 gonna have their battle. But I think the Chiefs' defense matching up with this Bills' offense is gonna be interesting to watch. Jerry Sneed and company were bullying Tyreek Hill at the line of scrimmage. Stephon Diggs ain't the most physically imposing wide receiver. Gabriel Davis hasn't had the best stretch at the end of the season. Like, it's been a lot of James Cook. Like, the Chiefs have shown you guys they can stop the run. There's been a lot of Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. The Chiefs have a set of 2 really good linebackers that can address for that. Like, I think this is going to be a really, really interesting lineup to see what the Bills can pull off on offense. And I think the Chiefs, like, listen, there was a point in that game, I think, in the Bills-Steelers game. I'm pretty sure Bills were up by 1 score. They went for it on 4th and 1. They went for the tush push that Cam Hayward almost blew up. That was going to get tense if the Steelers got to stop there and turn it over. Steelers were able to run the ball a little bit on the Bills. I think the Chiefs will be able to get Pacheco going. Clyde's already Lair looked good last week as well. He looks like he's moving. Like, I'm going to have to go Chiefs here. I think it's going to get real interesting, though. I just something about fading Pat Mahomes in a situation where his defense is really playing as strong as they are, and I don't think it's getting talked about as much as it should be at all. Like, that defense completely dominated Miami. I understand it was cold, but I think they have a chance to do the same thing with the Bills. I think you can completely funnel the Bills into a one-dimensional football game. It's not.
the Bulls haven't, like, why do I keep saying the Bulls? I guess I'm still
So
in
Chicago.
Still in Chicago.
Chicago looking, and I was wearing this Bulls hockey jersey like all weekend. Like, dude, as good as the Bills have looked, and again, you look at what, like it's essentially the complete opposite of what the Eagles did. Like, they lost to the Eagles and then absorbed all the Eagles' power and then went on the run of a lifetime while the Eagles just stopped winning football games. But like, all their games are close. Again, they barely beat the Chiefs, albeit in Arrowhead 2017. They handled the Cowboys, and then they barely beat the Chargers. They barely beat the Patriots. They were in a close game with the Dolphins up until the very end of Week 18, and then there was some legitimate worries again against the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers were able to fight back. That tush push that was like a Madden play, like like Josh Allen like helicoptered on the top of the line. It was crazy looking here. I don't know if they have enough firepower to blow out the Chiefs. And if it's not a blowout, and if it's going to be a close game, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes in a close game. I'm just. And
if we want to go coach for coach, I mean, damn. I'm taking Big Red over McDermott for real.
Right.
Like McDermott, if things didn't go the way that they went in the season, McDermott could have been in that coaching pool with a lot of people. Shout out to him. He saved his job.
1,000%. McDermott was getting axed if they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, we knew that was coming. Hey, Kenny, thanks for joining us for the recap of Super Wild Card Weekend. Good luck on your bets this weekend, and stay warm. It's getting a little cold, snowy, icy out there. Stay warm. Loving the Mooney Gang shirt. We'll see you next week.
Always a pleasure, boys. Talk next week.
Hey, talk to you soon. CEO and founder of the Moonshot, Kenny McAndress. Another fantastic week. Super Wildcard Weekend comes to a close, and we look ahead to the divisional round. And if you did watch this week, I don't even know. Can we call that? Do we call that week numbers now? What is it? Week 19? Is that week 19?
Calling the playoffs week 19. It's just,
well, I know, but I just always ended it with like week 19 or week 18. But Super Wild Card Weekend. Watch this on almost said Apple Podcast there. Watch us on YouTube. Drop a like, comment, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Our loyal audio platform listeners, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you guys know what to do. Give us those ratings. They do help a long, long way. If you do want to connect with us on our social media platforms, our Twitter is at 80ED Podcast. Our Instagram is at 80ED Pod. And our TikTok is simply the name of the show. Almost hit the wrong button there, but we got the right music coming in. Super Wildcard Weekend has come to a close. The final 8 teams in the NFL remain. Who will move on this week? You've been listening and watching to the All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and Manny Ruffin. We will see you for the recap of the divisional round.